Hello and a very warm welcome to each one of you. Today we are doing a poem 2.1, the song of the open road. I hope you all will like us like all our previous videos. This is presented by FF Creations, the Fantastic Four Creations. And these are the Fantastic Four friends who have worked hard in making all the educational videos for Standard 12. So are you ready? So let's begin. Song of the Open Road 2.1 by Walt Whitman. About the poet. Before we begin, let's have a look into the poet's life. Walt Whitman, 1819 to 1892, was an American poet, essayist, and journalist. Whitman is among the most influential poets in the American canon and is often called the father of free verse. He grew up in Huntington in a family with difficult economic status. His major works, Leaves of Grass, was published in July 1855. His O Captain, My Captain, a poem written on the death of Abraham Lincoln, is widely popular. The section 1 of Song of the Open Road is taken from Leaves of Grass. It is a beautiful blend of self-awareness, free will, and tenderness of heart. It gives us poets realization that along the journey of life, one will face a test of wisdom, which is not tested in any school or university. A road is something everyone uses, whether rich or poor, and it forces all levels of people to associate with one another. The road signifies mobility. One can take the road as a point to start over towards something new. Whitman talks about the people and places. He argues against staying in one place for too long, although the hospitality may be true. More about the poet. Here you can see the work Leaves of Grass from the section 1 of this poem has been taken. An American poet, essayist and journalist. Leaves of Grass, July 1855. O Captain, My Captain, poem written on the death of Abraham Lincoln. So, in short, let us see about the poem. This poem is taken from section 1, Leaves of Grass. It's a beautiful amalgamation, a mixture of self-awareness, free will, and tenderness of heart. The poem throws light on the poet's realization that along the course of life we experience many realities and they add to the experiences of our life. They always say experience makes a person more wise, which no college or universities can provide. College and universities gives us degree and they add to our knowledge, but the experiences of life helps us trudging through the difficulties and odds of life. The road signifies the path of life and everyone needs to trudge on it, be it rich or poor. It's open. The life of experience is open for everybody, irrespective of caste, creed, or barriers in life. The road can be the opening of new ways to reach our destination. The poet also talks about the people and places he comes across while traveling, as he believes in moving ahead without being stagnant in one place, irrespective of the hospitality. Whitman loves moving, loves exploring. In spite of getting good treatment at a particular place, he doesn't wish to stay there for a long time because he wants to explore, he wants to move ahead, he wants to search, he wants to fulfill his dream. That is what Whitman is trying to convey through this poem, Song of the Open Road. Now let us see the poem. Afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road. Healthy, free, the world before me. The long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. Henceforth, I ask not good fortune. I myself am good fortune. Henceforth, I whimper no more. Postpone no more, need nothing. Done with Indo complaints, libraries, querulous criticisms, strong and content, I travel the open road. The earth is sufficient. I do not want the constellation any nearer. I know they are very well where they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. Still here I carry my old delicious burdens. I carry them, men and women. I carry them with me wherever I go. I swear it's impossible for me to get rid of them. I'm filled with them and I will fill them in return. So this is the poem Song of the Open Road. Okay. Now let us see the summary in short. The speaker of the poem is describing a trip on which he is embarking. He describes himself as being healthy and free, and he realizes he is the only person who is in complete control of his life. Nobody can take the control of anybody's life. We ourselves have to control our life, and that Whitman has very well agreed upon. He has very well understood it. He chooses his own destiny. Because of his realization, he does not have to wish, hope, or pray for good fortune. Doesn't need anything because he is self-confident in whatever he is doing. He attests that he himself is his own good fortune. Actually, we ourselves are our own good fortune. If we work hard, we make a fortune. We create the road ahead for us. It all depends on our determination. For that, there is no destiny or that fate. Everything is hard work. They say 99% is hard work and 1% you can leave it to your destiny. But the maximum effort needs to be put by us. There is nothing that he is lacking. He will reach his destination on his own. He will work hard. He will face all the odds. He will enjoy. He will get all the experiences, and then he will reach his destiny on his own. And the earth will provide him with anything extra that is necessary. This is not to say that the road he is taking is not paved with imperfections and burdens. There are a lot of difficulties. The path which you choose, no path in life is free of odds. Every path has some odds in it. But how you take it, it all depends on the person. If you fight against the odds and you go ahead, you win over and you reach your ultimate destination, that is success. No, if you run away from the difficulties, then you will never reach your destination. You will never reach your end point. Rather than worry, however, the speaker has decided to take those burdens with him and deal with them as they arise. Whatever the difficulties, whatever the odds, we have to be ready. We have to have a positive attitude and we have to get along. Remember, difficulties are part and parcel of everyone's life. Now let's have the analysis of this poem. Whitman separates his poem into 4 separate stanzas. If you look into the poem, we have 4 separate stanzas. With the exception of the first stanza, which contains only 3 lines, the other stanza contains 4 lines of verse. The poem utilizes free verse. We have already seen that Whitman is a father of free verse. And free verse, the flow of emotion is in a continuous process. There is no break, and it really adds to the beauty of the poem, and it even helps your feelings to flow freely through the lines that are given in the poem. The lines are unrhymed and of varying length. Song of the Open Road is told from a first person point of view. I take the open road, Whitman is saying. So it's in the first person point of view. And the speaker, perhaps Whitman, knows himself very well. Now let us analyze the poem stanza wise. In the first stanza, the speaker begins his journey. The first stanza, as per the text, goes like this. Afoot and light-hearted, I take the open road, healthy, free, the world before me. The long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. What do you understand from this stanza? Here the reader is able to glean several important points. First, the speaker is setting out on the open road on foot. Because when you travel on foot, you have more experiences. You are with the nature and you learn in plenty. Secondly, he is light-hearted, absolutely light. When you're traveling, leave all your burdens at home and then enjoy the travel. Move light-hearted and open to all he is about to experience. He's ready to face all the challenges, all the odds that come into his way. He's ready for new experiences in his life. Additionally, the speaker recognizes that it is he who is in control of his journey. Absolutely, it's we who are in control of our journey. However we want, we can take turns. That's absolutely essential. The journey depends on our will. He will choose where the path will take him on his journey. Wherever the path takes him in this open road, he is ready to move on because he is in sole control of his journey. Now let us see the second stanza. The second stanza continues the thoughts expressed in the first 3 lines. Whitman writes. First let us read the stanza. Henceforth I ask not good fortune. I myself am good fortune. Henceforth I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing. Done with indoor complaints, libraries, querulous criticisms. Strong and content I travel the open road. The speaker says that he does not have to pray for good luck. As I already told you, good luck depends on us, how we take it, in what way do we take it. Because he is the maker of his own luck. He will no longer cry, whimper, a small cry. He will no longer cry or hesitate to do what he wants because he is the master of his own will. Because he is in need of nothing. He is no longer content with being walled inside. He doesn't want to remain within the 4 walls. He is more content when he moves freely outside in the world, explores, mixes himself with nature. He is strong and happy to be on the open road, absolutely ready to face all the odds. The use of alliterations here emphasize the speaker's carefree tone, lot of alliteration, and which shows his carefree mood, which is continued throughout the course of Song of the Open Road. And this free movement, this carefree life which he wants to lead, can be seen throughout this poem. Now let's see what stanza 3 has in store. In the third stanza, Whitman makes reference to the earth and stars. He writes, "The earth that is sufficient. I do not want the constellation any nearer. I know They are very well where they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. A beautiful expression over here. Here the speaker seems to separate himself from others. He's not like others. He's saying, you be as you are and I am happy as I am. He says the earth is fine the way it is. He has accepted the earth as it is. He does not desire to be any closer to the stars that he already is. He knows they are fine where they are. And he knows they are good enough for those who belong to them. Every individual is different. And how you perceive life, it depends on you. So he doesn't want to compare with anybody. He only wants to take care of himself. He wants to move about freely, exploring and experiencing things that he comes across. The last line is in strong contrast to the rest of the poem, where the speaker emphasizes his free will and independence, which means he probably does not include himself in the group of people who belong to the constellation. He says, no, wherever they are happy. It belongs to them, and wherever I go, I am happy in doing that. He does not belong to them because he does not need them. He doesn't need anybody, because nature is the biggest teacher for us. You learn so many things when you start exploring outside the world, when you start trudging the path which is before you. That's absolutely very essential. Now let's see what the fourth stanza is trying to convey. The fourth stanza is physically separated from the rest of the poem by Whitman using parentheses. He writes, see those things in the bracket, they are parentheses. He wants to convey something and he has put them into brackets. Still I carry my old delicious burden. I carry them, men and women. I carry them with me wherever I go. I swear it's impossible for me to get rid of them. I'm filled with them and I will fill them in return. So have you noticed the brackets, the round bracket? It denotes parenthesis over here. Whitman's use of parenthesis here makes the stanza more of an aside than its own separate being. It is almost an afterthought that the speaker decides to throw in. Okay, the later on this idea struck and he has added it. You can even call it as a prelude. But it is still important to the song of the open road. Here the speaker admits that he is not without his own problem. He has lots of problem. Every human being has a lot of problem. But then he says he carries his delicious burdens, old delicious burdens. See, his burdens are also delicious for him because he has accepted it and he is ready to cross all the hurdles and move ahead. The speaker decides to throw in, but it is still important to Song of Open Road. Here the speaker admits that he is not without his own problem, but instead of fretting, he relishes them. Delicious. The readers can see this through Whitman's diction. His use of words delicious is no accident. Through that word, Whitman conveys the sense of relish the speaker feels for his burden. Absolutely enjoys the burden, because it teaches you more in life. In the second line of the final stanza, the speaker admits to all that he carries them with him wherever he goes. Burdens are part and parcel of our life, So therefore, when you carry it happily, burdens don't remain to be a burden. This thought is continued in the final two lines of the poem. The speaker declares that he cannot rid himself of them. Instead, he and his burden share a symbiotic relationship or sort of togetherness, a bonding relationship, because burdens are always a part and parcel of life. It's how you carry it. Your Whitman is carrying it in a happy manner. That is why he is saying delicious. He is filled with his burdens and in return he fills them, and he adds more and more experiences to the burdens which he is already carrying with him. The speaker is stating here that his burdens do not define him. He accepts them and carries them with wherever he course, not at all fearful. He's taking them as a part of an experiences, adding more experience to it, and then moving ahead to explore more and more thing, moving along the path, moving along the open road, to become very well experienced. And that is life. You should experience different things, which adds to your wisdom more than your knowledge, which is very, very important. Now let us analyze the literary device used in the Song of the Open Road. Whitman has used various literary devices, and this adds an impact to his poem. Some of the major literary devices, which he has analyzed below is enjambment. It is defined as a thought in verse that does not come to an end at a line, break, it continues. Instead, it continues to the next line. For example, now understand me well. It provides in the essence of things that from any fruition of success, no matter what shall come forth, something to make a greater struggle necessary. How the idea is continued without a break is called as enjambment. Then symbolic. There are various things, various words which have a symbolic meaning. What is symbolism? Symbolism is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meaning. See, open road, it's absolutely free. The path of life is free. The way for you to choose. Open road is the path of our life, and it is up to us how we add on our experiences to it. And it symbolizes what? Freedom and opportunity, absolutely moving with ease. Alliteration, the repetition of consonant sound, the sound of H over here, happiness, then they too are on the sound of T over here. So alliteration is a continuous repetition of the consonant sound. Then the use of imagery. He has used beautiful imagery. We have already seen the road, the imagery of the road. Imagery is used to make the readers perceive things from the five senses. Here, let the paper remain on the desk unwritten and the book on the shelf unopened. See, all these words have got lot of imagery. Okay, so this is an imagery where a particular word denotes something different, which we also call as the inner meaning of the poem. Then we have personification, where human qualities are assigned to an inanimate object. The open road, the road is healthy, the road is free, all these are the examples of personification. Then we have something called as assonance in this poem. It's a repetition of the vowel sound. Alliteration is a repetition of the consonant sound, and assonance is a repetition of the vowel sound. Then we have rhetorical questions. Okay, it's a statement which is asked to clarify a point. Here there are rhetorical questions which you can find in this poem. Then we have anaphora. This is something new which we are going to study. And what does anaphora mean? It refers to the repetition of a word or expression in the first part of some verse. Like he says in the poem, I know they are very well where they are. I know they suffice. That particular line is an example of anaphora in this poem. Now let us see the analysis of the poetic devices used in the Song of the Open Road. Poetic and literary devices are the same, but a few are used only in poetry. Here is the analysis of some of the poetic devices used in this poem. Stanza. We have stanzas over here. And what is a stanza? A stanza is a poetic form of some line. There are 4 stanzas in this poem, and each varies in length. Now, all this is explained over here because this is the first poem, and you are going to come across all these in your later poems too. Free verse is a type of poetry that does not contain pattern of rhyme or meter. You are going to learn many more free verses in the future course of your text. This is a free verse poem with no strict rhyme or meter. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this poem. Wishing you all good luck to carry on with your course book with all the enthusiasm that you need so that your students enjoy. Thank you once again.